Hey girl, hey. Hey boys, hey. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, hit the subscribe button. Don't believe what you heard. That's for sure. I'm definitely not a scammer. And if anybody did not receive their package today, please email me and I will get your tracking number. Here is a big, long list of everybody's tracking from the post office to prove that I mailed it. Okay, from the post office. So, email me and I will get you your tracking number. I felt for sure everybody would have their stuff today. I definitely paid for it, but they didn't. It's good. It's good. And I did, when I got off my live, I did go over to that other creator's channel, MM, and she did share a comment of a subscriber that said I was a scammer. And here it is right here. It is underlined. Mama Beauties is a scammer. Steven Shepard. Same profile picture of a yellow car. I thought that man was my friend. He has emailed me before. He even emailed me and said that he was being accused of something he didn't do, but there is the proof right there that he did. Okay, I got receipts. Receipts. So, is there a way to block people on email as well? When I get off this live, I'm going to go and figure out how to block that cat on my email too, because he immediately reached out to me and said he was being accused of something that he didn't do, but I heard it with my own 2 ears, but it didn't show up in the live feed in the chat, but one of my subscribers screenshot it and the proof is in the pudding. So have several seats, Stephen, and good night. So now let's get on to pages 200 through 400 of the discovery. And again, as soon as I get done with this live, you guys, I promise you, if you email me that you did not get your package, I will give you a tracking number so you can find out exactly where it is, okay? By working from home and having a business from home, I learned a long time ago not to mail stuff without tracking, because people can just say that they didn't get it and then you're responsible for sending more, and it just is a vicious cycle. And so it cost me $4 to send it that way, and I only charge you guys $3 to send it that way. So I am willing to eat the dollar that it cost me just to keep from having to deal with any kind of issues, just like people saying I'm a freaking scammer. So if anybody's getting scammed, I'm the one getting scammed. I am naive. People with Asperger's are very easily scammed. We are not scammers. Get with the program, people. Okay, so I did put the link in the description box down below for those of you that want to go look at the discovery yourself. It is in the description box. So you can go and look up these pages yourself and see them with your own eyes, that I am not lying, that I am only stating exact facts from the discovery, okay? And the discovery did say that the fitted sheet was on the floor next to the comforter in on page 51 in that link down below. If you don't believe me that it did say that the fitted sheet was left behind beside the comforter, look on that link down there and go to page 51. But be careful exiting in and out, because they only let you look at it for so long for free, then they want to charge you to look at discovery. So yeah, they're going to come after me and I really could care less. I'm actually going to laugh at it, because it ain't me. Yeah, I'm not even worried. Okay, so starting on page 200 of the discovery, it starts out with Shanann's friend's statements. It goes into Addie's interview, Christina's, and Cindy's. And Cindy is the one that was really worried about her address being out there and stated that she had received 5 calls since the first affidavit came out. Sam and Jeremy were contacted at this time, but had not been reached yet. And according to the discovery, Shanann did not have vaginal swabs done, you guys. The girls had vaginal swabs done, and you can see it on page 200 or 201 of the discovery down in the description that the girls had vaginal swabs, but Shanann did not. So whether or not she had sex would not have been knowledgeable. They wouldn't have, you know, they didn't do any vaginal swabs, I believe, because of the coffin birth. So it's okay, sister. We're all wrong about a lot of stuff, and that's the best part about this channel, is that we can help each other stay on track with just the facts and the speculation kept to a minimum. But, you know, it is welcome here. Your speculation, your theories, your ideas are all welcome here, because that's how we're going to end up getting to the truth. Definitely not relying on Chris for it. So, but both the girls did have vaginal swabs. On page 205 of the discovery, you can see that. Okay, so that's where you would find that, is 205 of the discovery. It also says in the discovery that the beds had not been made, and Christopher had made the beds since the children went missing. So we don't know if the sheets were messed up or not, because Chris actually, the night that he stayed home and cleaned the house, he had changed the beds and made the beds. Now, this is where we get into the canines. Katie and Scout was dispatched from a company called Sardis, okay? This Sardis company trains dogs to pick up on human remains and to trail missing people. And the whole company for the canines and the search and rescue is called Sardis, okay? Now, Katie works for Sardis, and Scout was her canine that she came out with. And Scout is a bloodhound, and he is trained in trailing and human remain detection. 2 other Sardis handlers went with Katie, okay? So Katie used a latex glove to put gauze in Shanann's flip-flop and the girls' shoes from their birthday party that they went to on Sunday, so that she could pick up a scent for Scout to smell, so Scout could pick up a trail or a scent of them in the neighborhood. And so once they did that, she took the gauze outside and exited the home and let Scout smell the gauze, okay? Now, she puts in discovery that she put on a latex glove. And so everybody said that the police would never leave a latex glove behind, but would a dog handler? Would a dog handler accidentally leave her latex glove behind? And it's okay what your answer is. It doesn't matter if you think yes or no. I'm just wondering what you think. So what are you doing, Pray? Stop. So Jane, another Sardis member, searched the Watts home with her canine for human remains. And remember, that was the lady that heard the giggle with the officer on body cam in the camera. That lady's name was Jane, and she also worked for Sardis, but that was a different dog that she used, and that dog was to detect human remains. We saw her on the body cam and the giggle in the closet. Also, Boulder County Park Ranger Jeff searched the Watts home with his canine, and they all attempted to track around outside around the blocks to see if there was a trail her leading away from the home. And then discovery jumps into, I hope that they get back into it later. There are 1,900 and something pages of discovery, you guys. And each video that I'm making is only 200 pages at a time. That's the best we could go through it. So just remember that. It will probably come back up later, but in these pages, 200 to 400, it automatically goes to on August 14th, Chris's phone was downloaded. It only took 15 minutes to download his phone. And this really bothers me that they did not download NK's other phone. It only took 15 minutes. She was there in that interview for an hour. Why did they not make her reset her Google password and download that phone? Because it would have only taken 15 minutes to download everything that was in there. But they still just let her leave with it and said, it's okay, you forgot your password. August 14th, I already told you that. Discovery then goes into the drones over the Watts home and the oil site. And it talks about how they did the drones over the Watts home. They didn't find anything, but the next day they were asked to go out to the oil site, which Chris's GPS had shown where he went when he left the house. And that is when they found the sheet, the top sheet that he had wrapped Shanann up in. And you can see that sheet on an evidence video from the police's body cam. I think you will just have to Google Chris Watts evidence and it'll pop up. But that's the sheet that the drone saw, and the drone also saw the unsettled dirt and the 2 trash bags. And that is why I think that Frank said that his family was carried out like trash on that day, is because of the 2 trash bags out in the field. Possibly speculation again, though. So it goes into the bodies being recovered and the whole process, but we've got a very detailed version of Discovery when Sherilyn Cadle wrote her book. So most of you guys already know about the recovery process. They got Shanann the night before. They recovered her body from the shallow grave. Then they came back the next day and got the girls. They met Anadarko people there. They met hazmat people there. They had to suck the oil out and filter it into these pools. And then they had to go through the manholes to recover the bodies. And when they brought the bodies out, we all know the horrifying damage that was happening to their bodies because they had been kept in crude oil for that amount of time. And then it goes into Ronnie's disgusting interview of where he claims that Shanann was bipolar and that she was a narcissist like his son. And I don't even want to get into that interview because it's hogwash. So then Watts told Troy, it does go into Troy's interview, which is a coworker of Chris's. And he says that he was told by Watts that him and Shanann were having marital issues, but he did not elaborate. He described Chris Watts as humble and quiet, and he never knew Chris was seeing someone else. But since his wife sold Thrive with Shanann, I'm almost positive that Chris made sure that he wouldn't find out. Troy would never be somebody that Chris would to open up about that to, because his wife worked with Shanann selling Thrive. Shanann had gotten his wife into selling Thrive on her team. And so Troy was the last person that was ever going to know about the affair. Troy last saw Chris at work on Monday. He got to Survey 319 at 8:30 a.m. and Chad and Melissa and Cody were assisting there with Chris. And so Cody reported the Survey had an issue on Friday, and so Chris volunteered to go out there by himself on Monday morning. And he told him that he would do this around 6 o'clock on Sunday night, I believe, or 5:30. So they were all there to take care of the problem at Survey 319, and they left Survey 319 around 11 a.m. and went to a second site. And Troy says that's when Chris was called by Nicole Atkinson and had to leave. Troy says Chris has lost a lot of weight in the last year. And I find that funny that he lost a lot of weight in the last year. And the last year is when Nicole Kessinger had Googled Shanann. So he lost a lot of weight in the last year, and Nicole Kessinger had also started Googling Shanann in the last year. So it makes a lot of sense that he would lose weight, because I honestly believe that their affair started a year earlier when she first Googled Shanann Watts, or close to that time. Luke is Chris Watts' direct supervisor that they interviewed, and he described Chris as a good employee and quiet. And Chris Watts never was late, or he never had a problem with not showing up to work. He said Watts was an introvert and his kids had some health issues. He stated that Chris does not like attention, nor has he seen him get excited. But recently, Watts appeared on edge and flustered. He had told his boss he had nothing to hide and moved the Anadarko truck to keep it out of the eye of the media. And he states that Watts took off work July 31st through the August 7th, and we know that's when he went to North Carolina, and he returned to work on August 8th and August 9th, and then he took August 10th, which was the Friday before the murders, off work. He states that his shift starts at 6 a.m. or 6:30 in the morning, and it ends around 3 or 3:30. But didn't Ronnie Watts say in his interview that Chris didn't get off work till 5 p.m.? What was Chris doing in that last hour and a half of every one of his days off before he went and got the girls from school? According to Ronnie, he got off at 5 p.m. He says Chris Watts does not talk much. Troy does. And that he was aware he was having marital issues, but he did not know the details either. And so he doesn't act like he's close to Chris or that Chris really talks to him, but yet he's aware of the marital issues, because I think that the people in the office at Anadarko were talking and gossiping and sharing these things with one another. I don't think that Chris let his upper supervisor know he was having marital issues, but I think that bird's the word in the office that he was. Melissa was another co-worker that was at the survey with Chris that morning, and she described Chris as someone that was very knowledgeable and hardworking and easygoing. She said he joked a lot with her. Does that sound like Chris, you guys? No, it's funny that he acts totally different with women than he does with men. He's like all jokey and cutting up with women, but not with men. Melissa describes a different person than everyone else does. Melissa says that he liked to joke a lot and that his nickname at work, according to Melissa, was Silver Fox due to his good looks and Rain Man due to his extensive work knowledge. She said her and Cody arrived at the survey 319 on Monday morning around 8:25. She said Watts was already there on the survey, and she observed Chris Watts had a shovel and was digging a small hole near the oil tank about a foot wide and 8 inches deep. Melissa said that Chris told her he went to a Rockies game on Saturday, August 11th, and even went as far as talking about a walk-off home run, you guys, that he was never there and saw. So he researched it and then made it a point to talk about it with Melissa, knowing good and darn well he didn't go there. And he was never even there for her. She did later call and tell the detectives that she had remembered that Troy told her Chris was wearing a new pair of boots that morning, or a new pair of boots recently, and she had never seen the new boots, but she did remember that Chris had the old boots on the morning of the murders and that he had his pants tucked into the boots, and she had never seen him wear them like that before. And his coworkers all talk about how they gave him a hard time about his pants being tucked in his boots. And Melissa said she asked him just straight up why he was doing that. And he told her that he was worried about snakes and legless lizards. I've never heard of legless lizards, you guys. She remembers him joking with her Monday and nothing being off about Chris. And then it goes into Amanda Thayer's interview, and she gave us some dates to reference at the beginning of her interview in Discovery. She says on June 22nd, they went to San Diego and that they got home on June 25th, and that Shanann's dad came into Colorado and visited on June 28th and then left the next day with Shanann and the girls on June 29th. And Amanda thought that Shanann got back from North Carolina on August 4th or 5th, and Shanann left to Arizona August 10th and got home Monday morning. Amanda stated that she saw Chris on July 4th for a fireworks show, And Amanda said that Chris told her hubby, Nick, that he tries to hide the fact if he is having any kind of fun from Shanann when she calls because it upsets her when she's out of town. And he said that he could not FaceTime her at this July 4th place because he was in a bad service area. Plus, he was having a good time and he didn't want Shanann to know because it would upset her. He also told Amanda and Nick that if he does not answer her calls when he is even in the shower or working out, that she gets upset with him. And Amanda said that Shanann told her before she left for North Carolina in one of their phone conversations that Chris's hands were all over her. She told Amanda in that phone conversation that the first week in North Carolina, her and Chris had a lot of phone sex the first week. She tells her Chris wasn't distant and he wasn't distant then, but when he came to North Carolina, he was. And at certain times, he would not even hug her. He would not take pics with her. He was not communicating with her, and he did not kiss her at the airport. Shanann told Amanda that Chris' parents did not come to Cece's birthday party or even text Chris that day. And I'm sure that this really upset Chris that his own parents didn't even text him to tell Cece happy birthday. Not only did they not come to the birthday party, but they had the nerve to not even text their son to tell their granddaughter to have a happy birthday. I mean, Chris wasn't even there when Nutgate happened. So why were they so mad at Chris that they couldn't even text Chris and say, hey, tell Cece we said happy birthday? And so this really irked Chris. I guarantee it. This is when he started even boiling more. Oh my God, my dad hasn't even texted me on my daughter's birthday. Our relationship is probably irreparable. And she said since then, Chris was not right since the fight with his with Chris's parents. Chris told Shanann she was creating a barrier between him and his dad. He told her they were not compatible and he did not want the baby. This is all what Amanda Fair was relaying to the agents that Shanann told her over a phone conversation. He thought a third child would fix the relationship in the beginning, but was not sure now, but was excited prior to her coming to North Carolina. And so Shanann was really confused by it all. Chris told Shanann he was considering separation, and she told Amanda that. But Shanann told Amanda she was 100% against separating and asked Chris to see a therapist, and Chris refused. She offered, Amanda offered to keep the girls so they could go out of town for the weekend and maybe rekindle, but she never really got to talk to Shanann again because her brother had passed. And so she went to that funeral, and by the time she got back, Shanann and the girls were already missing, and they went over and talked to Chris and that first night when they got back. So her and Nick went to see Chris that Monday when they got back from her brother's funeral. And Discovery states that that Lyft taxi charge was confirmed from Nicole Atkinson and Shanann in Arizona. So that clears that up. And Amanda and Nick asked Chris if he wanted to stay the night with them on that Monday. And he said that he didn't want to. I found it really odd that he said he wanted to stay home in case they came home. He also stated he wanted to clean up for them when they came home. He told them that he wanted to clean up for them when they came home, but he really wanted to clean up for himself. He knew they weren't coming home. He had already killed them. So to tell Amanda and Nick that he didn't want to spend the night with them, that he was just going to stay home that night because he wanted to clean up in case they came home. And he knew they weren't coming. So Tuesday, Nick and Amanda came back to Chris's house at 9 a.m. and they stayed there with him until 4 p.m. And Chris told him his dad was coming, or Chris told Nick that his dad was coming and that Sandy had called being disrespectful to him. Are you kidding me? He literally told Amanda and Nick that Sandy called being disrespectful to him. You best believe she didn't come there and do worse. So they asked Chris to stay over at their house, and he agreed. When Chris was being investigated that night by the FBI, they sat in the parking lot from 7:30 p.m. till 11 p.m. waiting for Chris. So they had heard that Chris was being investigated by the FBI, and they went straight up to the Frederick Police Department and waited on Chris outside from 7:30 to 11 p.m. And when Chris got out, Chris followed them back to their house. When Chris came out, he told Nick and Amanda he was not allowed to go to his house that night or in the morning since it was being searched. Chris told them he was asked about a polygraph and that he agreed to take one and come back in the morning. Chris told them the next day he was going to go to work, but they told him no. He left their house at 9:30 the next morning to get Ronnie from the airport. So when they get him after this 3-hour interview, he says that he needs to go back in the morning for a polygraph. But after he goes back to their house and sleeps, he wakes up the next morning trying to go to work. He really wanted to go to work because he did not want to go take that polygraph. He had agreed to it and he was trying to stall. He wanted to be able to tell them, I got to go to work. I'll do the polygraph after work. But his work was like, no. We don't need you to come in. And so he had no other choice but to go take the polygraph. And so he did leave about 9:30 from the Thayers to get Ronnie from the airport. And I told you guys it is an hour drive from Frederick to the Denver airport. And Amanda said one time Shanann thought Chris Watts was having an affair, but she dismissed it because she told Amanda that Chris had no game. So she had mentioned it to Amanda one time before, but Amanda told the police that she quickly dismissed that because she said Chris had no game and there's no way he could have an affair. Chris stated to Nick that he did not want to talk to the media since they might pry and turn his words around. They didn't need to, honey. Your words came out just as what's it called? Oh, I'm drawing a blank. His words convicted him. His own words. They were just as compelling. I forget what word I'm looking for, but it's okay. He did not want to be, quote, public enemy number one. That's what he told Nick. That he knew that the media would pry and, his exact words, turn his words around, and that he did not want to be public enemy number one. Nick said he was worried about that too. And Chris stated he was at the Survey to Chad at 6:41 a.m. that Monday. When he got there, Watts stated he was hot, but they did not see any perspiration on him. And his friend, or Chad, thought it was odd that Chris was telling him he was hot because it was 8 a.m. in the morning and it wasn't hot at all. But they didn't see any perspiration on him because he had wiped it all off and changed his clothes, I'm sure. And he was in the middle of digging a hole next to a tank for the oil that as part of his work. On August 17th at 1:25 p.m., the cops were called to the Watts home for a burglary in progress. People were inside taking pictures. Come to find out, it was Chris's defense team that did have permission to be in there, but one of the neighbors had called the police and sent the police over. And when they contacted who they needed to contact, they found out that the defense had permission to be inside. Chris texts Cody about getting to the Survey 319 on Monday morning at 5 o'clock on Sunday. He told him he would go to the Survey the next morning on his own. So it was the night before that he texted Cody and told him, hey man, I'll go to the Survey first thing from my house and not go to the office. He texted him at 5:06 p.m. on Sunday and told him that he would do it the next morning. So, and then he got to the Survey at 6:30. According to the text that he texted one of his coworkers saying, hey man, I'm at the Survey. It was at 6:30. So that is the next 200 pages of the discovery. I will be either doing the next 30 minutes of the Chris Watts, Wisconsin interview next, or I will be doing the next 200 pages. I haven't decided yet. But how about all that information? But didn't he say he changed on his way home from the oil site? I thought he said he changed before his employees got there. I thought that he changed after he killed everybody and he changed out of those clothes, and that's why his clothes were so wrinkly, that his coworkers noticed his clothes were wrinkly. It was because they were shoved in the back. It was a spare set of clothes. And on the way home, he threw away the other set of clothes. I think Chris would have been okay with Sherilyn Cadle dying of, or Cece dying of allergic reaction, although the knot incident happened before 14th, and that was the day he said he decided to kill them all. Yeah, it's just devastating. Yep, there's a lot more going on in that family than we know about. I'll tell you all that right now. I was raised by narc covert mom and just learned of this 4 years ago and coming to terms myself. I'm sorry, Sonia Lee. There's a reason. I already read that. Jackie. I've seen 30 specialists this past year. To know if a doctor would have paid attention, I wouldn't be in this boat today. Is a hard pill to swallow. I plan on emailing you when I can. Is there no kind of recourse for that doctor? Can you not sue them, Chronic Life? That's a good question about the color shirt, but didn't he change? Oh, I believe Cindy sent a clear psychological trigger to Chris with her attempt on Cece's life with the nuts. Right? I don't know. They didn't say what color any of his clothes were in Discovery so far. Cindy is still to this day slamming Shanann on the internet. I know that burns me up more than you know. I'm still coming to terms about my family's roles in my life. It's overwhelming. I know, Sonia, it's hard to accept that our parents weren't as perfect as we thought they were. I know what you mean. And he called his coworker on the way to the oil site to make sure he didn't show up there. I wonder what would have happened if his coworker did show up. Yeah, he even asked his coworker in that text corresponding that you're talking about, Dorothy. He said, "Where are you headed?" He wanted to know if he was going to end up coming there. He tried to get no one to come there, but when he sent the picture of what was going on, the real problem was reported by Cody, you guys. A lot of people are saying that Chris said there was a problem out at the Survey, but he didn't. On Friday, when Chris took the day off, Cody had talked to everybody in the group work text and said that there was a problem out at the Survey. Well, Chris had said on Sunday that he volunteered on Sunday at 6 p.m. that he would be the one to go out to the Survey first thing in the morning and check on it. And so he went out there, he texted the dude, "Hey, I'm here." It was 6:30 in the morning. Dude said that he was going to 1029, but that these other people were coming. And Chris sent him a picture of the oil bubbling up from the ground. And that's when everyone else got out there around between 8 and 8:30. But Chris was there for a while before they arrived. Because if he left his house at 5:30, 5:45, he would have gotten out there around 6:30, 6:45. And so he was there from 6:45 until earliest 8 a.m. with no one there at all except him. And that's all in Discovery. Cindy won't change. It's the narc. She don't see herself as we outsiders can for whom they are. I know a narcissist cannot tell, just like Dr. Phil said, that everyone in that room is rolling their eyes at you in disbelief, but a narcissist thinks everyone believes every word that's pouring out of their mouth. Hey, girl, hey. Yes, he definitely changed after and threw them away on the way home on the Mesa Drive, I believe, and said he stopped to look at that house at first. The realtor told him to drop by at. Yes, he actually went to a construction site and used a dumpster on where a house was being built. And so when the police went back and said, "Hey, did you guys notice anything in the dumpster?" The construction workers told the police that a lot of people dumped stuff in those dumpsters. So if they would have saw any clothes or anything, that it wouldn't have been odd for them because people come and illegal dump in their dumpsters all the time. And so I still stuck on the victim releasing herself. What happened to it? Did he what? It's on the sheet, Jackie. Just go check the evidence. It's clearly there on the sheet that was found at the survey. If you look at that video, you can tell that that's what that is. I mean, there's a lot of dirt on the sheet too, but there's difference on the sheet between dirt and what you're talking about. So I highly recommend you just typing in on YouTube Chris Watts evidence room, and that's where the body cam is going to show up. They unfold the sheet out completely and you can see everything on it. You see blood, you see that, you see everything. Hey from Norway, Britta, thank you. Didn't NK call about when that dumpster was to be emptied? I don't know. That sounds like something that we would have to dig up. I don't want to put that out in the universe if that's not true. That's the first time I ever heard that, North Korea. In his interview in February, he was more concerned about NK and only sorry that he did this to her. No more remorse for what he did to his family. I agree. And I think in that interview, Cassie, he was kind of baiting her. He was kind of letting her know that he's about to roll on her if she doesn't write him. Narcissists are great at making a triangle of statements and confusing those whom are easy to question themselves first before questioning the narc. Yes, gaslighting like a mofo. Gaslighting. They can flip that script on you to where they're the victim and you're the villain. And it's clearly the other way around. Hi, Nikki Malloy. Hey, girl. Hey. Hey, boy. Hey. Set the record straight is what in Miss Mensa got kicked off YouTube, and that was a watch channel too. Now for Jay for Justice, she's pro Watts. Yeah, nope. We're not pro Watts over here though. I mean, they were victims to an extent, but they also victimized Shanann to an extreme before and after her murder by their son. So to get an ultrasound picture of your first grandson from Chris and not even respond, knowing that it took everything in Shanann to unblock them and to send that ultrasound pic and say it's a boy, and them to not even respond, and for them not even to message Chris on Cece's birthday. Fine, be mad at Shanann all you want, but you could have messaged your son on Cece's birthday and said, listen, we're not going to make it, obviously, because of Nutgate, but tell Cece happy birthday. Why punish a child and not tell them happy birthday? Why punish Chris because he's not there? Because they were strong-arming him to leave her. That was their way of saying, as long as you're with Shanann, we're not going to have nothing to do with you. So they are catalysts just as much as NK. All those channels are watch channels I'm using talk to text. Have we heard where he got the Oxycontin? No. Only thing we have about the Oxycontin is speculation. And the only, I do know this about the Oxycontin, that the only people he protects is NK, Cindy, Ronnie, and Jamie. So it had to come from those people. One of those people gave him the oxy. Anyone else he throws under a bus with a big, huge bullhorn. So for him to kind of sweep that under the rug, it had to be from one of his loved ones. Ronnie said in an interview they did not respond to Shanann because Chris had already told them marriage was over. It doesn't matter. It was about your grandchild. It was an ultrasound pic, an innocent baby. You could have at least sent a thumb, even though I hate that thumb. That thumb is the worst. Anyone that sends me that thumb, I read too much into it, and I basically think you're telling me to F you or whatever, or and I read too much into the thumb, but please, I hate the thumb. Don't send me the thumb. I wish the police officer had noticed that Chris didn't take the direct route through his neighborhood to his house. He took a completely loop around, which enabled him to throw his clothes away. Jamie works at hospital. Narcs go silent to punish those around. With Ronnie coke addiction, he had access. Where did it go? Uh-oh. To hookups with drug dealers. North Korea, I understand that Ronnie said that, but it wouldn't have mattered whether they were separating or not. Ronnie should have still wanted to see his grandbaby. What a cold family. I agree, Dorothy. North Korea, I understand that Ronnie said that, but it wouldn't have mattered whether they were separating, and not Ronnie should have still wanted to see his grandbaby. What a cold family. I know. I agree. They should have responded. Dorothy, they are all strange showing love as a family. The dogs at the construction site really made she didn't know how to read her dog. Was definitely alerting. The thumbs up I sent was saying thank you, and I will look at the evidence on the sheet. Oh, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about on Facebook or whenever you're pouring your heart out to someone and they send you a thumb, like you know that they're basically just, telling you to shut up. I wasn't talking about your thumb, love. No, not on here on YouTube. It's different. I'm talking about when you're in Messenger, a direct message to somebody, and you're pouring your whole heart out, and you're like, and then this happened, and then it was just devastating, and I couldn't believe it. And then someone sends you the thumb. I mean, you pretty much know that they want you to shut up. So I wasn't talking about you, though, Jackie. Silver, I agree about the oxy. I think Ronnie did too. And let's not forget, he's a cokehead, so he knows how to buy drugs. Exactly. I agree with all of it. Once upon a time, yes, the dog handler probably missed crucial evidence, but not letting the dog lead her. Mama Beauties, I am only just popping in. Could you please give me your email address? I looked a couple of videos, but couldn't find it. Thought I'd ask since you're live. I'd love to email you. Of course, Nicole, here you go. D's Dust Destroyers at gmail.com. There it is, just for you. These Dust Destroyers at gmail.com. Yes, my keyboard is sticking. I think the entire investigation was botched. And gotcha. That's why I hate Facebook. I have one for family and some friends, but I hate even going on it. I haven't posted on Facebook since I started this channel, you guys. I left Facebook. I did go there today to post about Elijah. But once I got this channel, I left Facebook. When I was going through my recovery in the last 2 years, I begged and pleaded with my friends on Facebook to come over and to hang out with me, to spend some time with me. I told them I'd give them a free facial, a free manicure, a free pedicure. I offered to do their feet because I was pleading with them to give me some adult conversation, some adult time. And no one would even respond. They all just completely forgot about me. So I realized that Facebook was fake book and that nobody really cares. Facebook has destroyed my birthdays. No one ever messages me on my birthday or calls me on my birthday anymore. They just put it on my wall, happy birthday, and that's all they have to do. So I'm done with Facebook. YouTube is my outlet. This is where I communicate with people that care about me, and this is where I get adult conversation. And so I'm done with Facebook. Bye. Yeah, Dorothy's right. They're always talking about somebody's bipolar when they all probably are. Thank you, Tristan. Oh my God, part of my email I started to use just like what you just said about friends. It's true. You guys have been more concerned about me here as total strangers than people that I've known for decades. It's sad. And I mean, literally pouring my heart out to these people, and no one cared. Everyone's too busy with their own lives. They're afraid that they'll be asked to do something. On Cece's birthday, they weren't speaking to Chris to punish Shanann. They were punishing Chris to yeah, that's what I said, Dorothy. I said they were showing Chris that as long as you're with her, we're not going to have anything to do with you. That was their way of strong arming Chris into leaving her. They knew they had not done that before. They knew that they hadn't just cut off contact with him altogether. And so this was their final little approach to get him away from her. That's what I said earlier, Dorothy. Yeah, it was never to punish Shanann. It was to punish Chris for being with Shanann. And I think that every time they saw Chris, they told him to leave her. And so that's why they bonded that last day he was in North Carolina, because he said he finally was going to. I know, it is sick, Silver. With the Frazies and the Watts case, they both were wanting to please Mama. She came first. That's what I said at the beginning of this video, Paula. I said that they all wanted to make their moms happy, and each mother felt intimidated by these women. They felt they were being replaced and pushed out, and that these women were able to control their sons, and they didn't like that because they were their sons' puppet masters their entire life. And now some other woman was coming to take her place. And so I feel like the moms in both of these situations, whether they knew it or not, was a catalyst to these murders. They it could be one end of the spectrum where they knew it, they pushed it, they planted the seed, or it could be the other end of the spectrum where they are innocent in all of this, but they weren't sad about it. They were actually pushing it. You know what I mean? But not directly saying it. It was innuendos and an idea. Exactly, Jackie. Yeah, we're talking about Patrick Frazie's mom as well, was the same way as Chris Watts' mom. And they're behind both these sick family killers, or fiance killers, wife killers, significant other killer, is this evil, twisted mother that feels like she's being replaced or losing control. If you guys watch Investigation Discovery and you watch Killer Women, I think it's called, or Deadly Women, you'll see a lot of them talk their sons into killing for them. Now, I'm not saying either one of them did that. I just want you to open up your mind to the fact. You guys all can open your mind to the fact that NK was a catalyst. So open up your mind to the fact that these mothers might be a catalyst too. So they definitely weren't trying to stop it. And who's to say they weren't, behind it? Who knows? We don't know. We never will. Hey, Mike Jones. And if she wrote a book, you guys, wouldn't ne'er one of us buy it. None of us would buy that book. Tomorrow we have a survivor story coming on. I think I got to get back in my emails. when I finish this live, I'm going to go through my emails. And if you did not receive your package today, please email me with the city and state that you live in so I know which one of these on this paper is yours and I can give you the right tracking number. Okay, so email me and let me know if you didn't get your package today. I sent out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. So if you did not get your package today, email me and I will get right on that. And I did not put my PayPal in my description below because I want you guys, if you do have a chance to donate to Ashley's GoFundMe. I don't even think it has one donation yet. It just got started yesterday. They unplugged Elijah off of life support yesterday. She didn't even start it herself. Her sister did it. And so I would love to see that at least get a little bit of money. And I am going to donate on the 1st when I get paid. So hogwash, exactly. I don't agree. I think FBI, CBI, and Frederick did a great job investigating. They arrested the guilty party. If anything needs to be addressed in the future, I'm confident they'll do it. I'm in recovery too. That's when you learn who your true friends are. I'm glad you have that much faith and confidence in them. But I just have to agree to disagree. And, I think it's equally numbered on both sides. I feel like a lot of people think that the police did a great job, and a lot of people think that they didn't. And so it's split right down the middle, which is more 50-50, us weighing the odds and more things for us to argue about. But either way, it doesn't matter because he is in prison for life forever. So he's never getting out. So they at least did that. I mean, I just wish that we had answers to some of these unanswered questions is all. The moms were so controlling as they were treated as kids, I believe. So no emotions and get what you want. Dorothy C., they should have asked NK to take a polygraph. They were too easy on NK. I agree. North Korea, you can't force somebody to take it, and it's not admissible if they're, I would have volunteered to take it if I had nothing to hide. Yeah, they aren't admissible in court anyway. They're really not. So, yes, it is fake book for sure. And so those people are not really your friends. And I just want to let you guys know that you're more than welcome to email me. What else? Thank you for all the love and support. Please do not believe people when they say that I'm a scammer. That's absolutely not true. I really enjoyed that guy on my channel, and me and him had some awesome conversations. And then come to find out that he's going to another creator's live and saying that Mama Beauties is a scammer in her chat when people were actually trying to give me praise. All the while he was smiling in my face telling me that I'm doing a great job and keep up the good work. And I mean, you guys can go back through my comment section and you'll see Steven Shepard show up a lot, and he literally is the one that is throwing me under the bus over there. So that's just not fair. I didn't deserve that. So please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and know that I'm not about all of that. I will address it. My kindness need not be mistaken for weakness because I ain't the one. I'll tell you that right now. Don't mess with my integrity. Don't mess with my character, my ethics, my morals, my values that I have fought so hard to gain. I didn't used to have any, you guys, literally. I didn't care what I did or what kind of repercussions happened because of any of my actions. But now I do. And now I try very hard to be the best version of me, and to get slandered and ran across the coals when I'm trying so hard to be uplifting and supportive and not negative, and stay positive and have a community where everybody can agree to disagree and we can share our stories of surviving domestic violence and addiction and health issues. It's a daily struggle. So just know If you see it, screenshot it, send it to me. That way I know who to block. That's all I'm going to do. Once somebody, what's it called, backstabs me, they're getting blocked. That's it. If you are going on another creator's channel and talking crap about me, I will find out. I watch these creators too, you guys. So I will see you in the comments. Be careful about who you trust and who you think is your friend, you guys. That's all I got to say. Oh, I didn't know he was doing it last week too. No, he did this today. It's right here. Proof is in the pudding. Let me cover up the person that sent it. It's underlined. And it was on her live today, and it says Mama Beauties is a scammer. Hold on. There you go, Stephen Shepard. So come on now. Get real. You guys stop. And this is being said in a live where someone keeps saying, the super chat is open. Join my Patreon. Super chat is open, you guys. How many times do I ever bring up super chat? I don't even talk about that. I don't tell you about my PayPal. I don't, I mean, come on. I'm not even monetizing my videos about crime. I am not here for the money. I am here for the friendships. And I will delete it all the way down to 200 people just so I can have a tight knit community of people I can trust. So it's not about being past 1,000 anymore. It's about being loyal and honest and uplifting and positive and embracing and comforting and all of that. Okay, so we're not going to disgrace my channel or me because I'm not the one. I'll split this screen with you right here and you can tell me exactly what you think and then you can listen to my rebuttal. I mean, that's just the way I am. I'll bring everybody into the same room and we can hash it out. I'm not playing these games, you guys. So just know that. I don't know why he's calling me a scammer. I have no idea. My website is real. It's a legit company that I work for. I did a pop-up shop. I showed you guys the jewelry that I make. I don't understand why I'm being called a scammer. And email me, Paula. I've got everybody's tracking numbers right here. If you didn't get your package, I just email me and say, I did not get my package. What's my tracking number? And I will give you your tracking number. I gotta go, you guys. I'm getting really frustrated over this, and I do not want people to see me come about my character. So I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you. It's just frustrating, and I need not let it bother me. It just sucks that people will smile in your face and comment and pretend to be your friend, all the while they're going somewhere else talking crap. And it's not just him, it's people disliking my videos. It's people trying to, trying to act like I'm bad, but I'm not. I haven't made a dime off YouTube, you guys. I got monetized November 14th, which means I won't get any of my money until December. So I haven't made a dime off of YouTube, not one dime. Okay. And I sell nails and I make $1.25 off of them. And when I shipped these last nails, the dollar I made off of the packs, I used to help with shipping so I could give you guys tracking. I'm actually came up more out of my pocket than I've made from anything. I gave away $50 in nails when we hit 500. I gave away $50 in skincare when we hit 1,000. I gave away $50 when we hit 1,500. So I'm in the hole, you guys. I haven't made a dang dime. So it's not about money. You have to be trying to get money from people to be a scammer. So it's just, they can't hit me for copyright strikes. They can't get me for privacy strikes because my godfather is a federal judge. He told me everything that I needed to look out for when I sat down to do this channel. So I am covered. And so they're just reaching. They're trying to find something to smear my name. Exactly. They're jealous. They're just jealous. And so I'm going to get off here and start. I need to know, Paula, will you email me and tell me what city and state? I have 8 different packages here, and I need to know the city and state that you live in. That way I don't have to go back and manually look up everybody's address through these emails. So if you could just have not got your package, if you could just email me and tell me your city and state that you live in so I know which tracking number to give you. All right. Thank you guys. Sorry I got so snippy, but I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.